been a long day full of amazing StarCraft 2, but we're finally down to our last match of Group D. We have the 2015 Katowice runner-up fighting for his tournament life as he goes up against the Polish Zerg and WCS Valencia champion. Please welcome up on stage, it's Trap and Elazer.
That's right, guys. We have got our last series of the day on the mainstream, and we are keeping it mainstream here. Maynarde and Pig, full Aussie cast for our PVZ.
It's as mainstream as they come, my man.
That's right.
Poland versus Korea. Elazer fighting for his pride, fighting for some cold, hard cash. Trap fighting for a whole lot more. He wants to go through to that next group stage, man, or that next bracket stage. Wants to get out of the group stage. And he's got to win this set to have a chance.
Yeah, $5 grand for the round of 12. Not bloody bad. Would like to get there, and of course, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Potential of getting much further than that. Trap is someone that when I think about IEM Katowice, he's actually one of the players that comes to mind. I remember that year he was in the grand final when we had a different stage set up. It was a few years ago, I think maybe 2015. Yeah, it was 2015. Trap was in the grand final against Zest, but up until then, he was saying in his interviews that he just really wanted foreign fans. He loved being in, outside of Korea and competing in the western side of the world. And every time he won on stage, he'd come out and he'd like raise his hands up in the air, try and make people make noise for him, which is, tough because he'd often be up against a Polish player or something like that. But it was so awesome, and I loved that energy from him. Obviously, it's later in the day, he's a little bit tired, a lot of us are, but Trap is looking incredible. He actually has a lot of momentum happening for him back in Korea. He looked really, really good in GSL. Elazer, however, on the other side here of the stage, has kind of been getting beaten up a little bit today.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a slow start for Elazer and a few near misses in his series against players such as Classic and SOS. Unfortunately, of course, going down in those series. Elazer 0-4 in series, but it's not the sort of experience and play that we expect from him. Trap, though, I like what you said. He's one of these guys who he's had a long journey to get here, man. We watched him play all the way through that open bracket. We watched him just clinch his way barely through there, and he was so happy. I remember the relief on his face. He was just so excited to make it through here. And for him, it's a special treat to play on this stage.
Certainly is, no doubt about it. And he was someone that I saw as a bit of a dark horse for this tournament as well. Elazer as well. But as you know, obviously, Elazer not really in contention at this current point, but Trap definitely a dark horse still in my eyes as someone that could potentially come through and do a lot of damage in the round of 12 and even the round of 8. I would not be shocked to see him in his semi-final. Obviously, depends how the brackets end up fleshing out and who was against who. Playing for pride and money is this kid right here on the booth.
Yeah. Elazer, it's a special experience when he gets to compete here, and I know that personally right now he is feeling, of course, a little bit frustrated that it's gone the way it has so far today, but he has a chance here still to regain some of that pride, to show what he's made of. And he's definitely shown some very strong strategies, but especially that last series that we saw on the mainstream of his up against SOS. Brutal and surprising finish from the trickster genius that SOS is, surprising him with a ton of oracles. Trap, I think, is a little bit more of a straightforward player in many regards, and someone who Elazer matches up stylistically a little bit better.
Elazer is the kind of guy that tries to make it work with Tier 2, which we saw that Nurtio tried to adopt as well in his series in Group C. Generally, Hive Tech is used for adaptive talents more than anything else, but of course, if it goes to Broodlords, he's not afraid of that either. No European Zerg really is. They just seem to have that comfort in the late game. This is a lot of these Koreans that have tendencies to be aggressive and that sort of thing, which Trap can be. I think that the series is for Elazer, like they were actually a lot closer than the score indicates here. Obviously, 0-4 looks brutal, like he's been beaten up all day, but he actually had a lot of really close games against some really high caliber players.
Yeah, this is when you get to the group stage here, it's never an easy run, you know. Definitely, it's not the best day for Elazer performance-wise, but it is so hard to get out of these group stages. There really isn't any other tournament like IEM Katowice. It is such a special event because there are so many games. We always end up getting the best players through the open bracket, the best players through the group stage and through to that final bracket.
Generally what happens when you have round robin, this is the only big tournament of the year I can think of that has this round robin format in the middle of it. And generally, like the players will tell you, this is the format that will give you as many shots as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Obviously, it can get weird with map scores and that sort of thing, head-to-head results, but generally, the better players will get through, depending on the results of the day.
Of course, Classic leading the group at 4-0.
No surprises there.
So good. Oh man, he has just absolutely destroyed it. Of course, we came into this and we were kind of saying SOS and Classic are looking the best, but they were probably I think the players who we were the least sure of how strong they were going to be going into this. They've both come out looking so good so far in this group.
Honestly, Group A started pretty much as predicted. I'm like, all right, it's going to be TY, Maru, and someone. I didn't know who that third person was going to be, but I knew that it would be TY and Maru. But then everything turned kind of upside down in Group B and Group C, where like Innovation all of a sudden got beaten up and he couldn't get through. And there were being so many upsets that I came into Group D a little bit sort of disenchanted about my predictions. I'm just like,
we know nothing about this game anymore.
Yeah, it could be Hero Marine or Elazer in top place for all I know, with those Korean gods in the bottom. Wouldn't have been shocked anymore, but we are ready. We saw Trap warming up a little bit, and we are going to get in-game. In the bottom right here, the Protoss from GDEC Green Wings. Give it up for Trap. Does still have that fan base. Down the top left from Clash, the Polish Zerg. Make some noise for Elazer.
Fans here staying here late as always to keep on cheering on these players.
Mate, Net Wars guys work harder than we do. I very much doubt they move from their seats. They're glued to the screen and stage all tournament long.
Their passion is unending indeed, and it's going to be that fast 16 hatch once again from Elazer, just trying to make sure that probe can't be annoying and block that. So a good start to things for Elazer. Trap's probe just going to have to run around the base, have a little zap here and there, tase a few drones, try and be as annoying as he can.
Yeah, just doing what he can with the probe. Obviously, you don't expect damage here. It's just more scouting, keeping the Zerg honest, making sure that he's not super fast expanding or super quick gassing or anything like that. It's just going to be hatch gas pool here from Elazer, everything pretty regular. The cool features here at Backwater, we've seen this map a few times in this tournament, but it's cool to bring up in matches with Zergs, I feel, is that you have that puck at third base where you really only have this natural choke to worry about. And Zergs, they love having the ability to just have, you know, to limit the attack options for an opponent. Obviously, drops make it, you know, it turns the table on its head. So drops all of a sudden become more effective because of that pocket base. It's tough to reinforce and surround it because you once again only have one attack path.
Yeah, and conversely, of course, Protoss do enjoy getting a third base, which Zerglings can't just flood into as easily. It's a nice respite from the endless Zergling harassment which Protoss players are always facing on that third. And also, it does weaken those big Roach timings. We've been seeing a lot of those big Roach attacks, counter-attacking against the Oracle openings, the Adept pressures, and doing massive damage, often killing a third base. But on this map, you need to go through the natural wall, so it's always going to be hard to break through. And this really, I think, incentivizes players to push a little bit deeper into the game and not go for such straightforward attacks. So always end up with some interesting gameplay here on Backwater and with the expansion pattern as well. It's usually quite linear. You really kind of just need to expand along that horizontal edge of the map. Otherwise, your expansions end up out in the middle of nowhere where you can't defend.
Yeah, pretty much. If you take your third outside, then you're a madman. You're asking for trouble. Yep. The Stargate opening here from Trap, pretty regular. Opening with a Stalker here instead of, you know, multiple Adepts means that he wants to deny Overlord scouting or even just try and pick off a couple in the early stages of the game to be very, very annoying. And there we are just seeing exactly what I was talking about. That Stalker going to push the Overlord back so that he can hide as much tech as possible and also, you know, hopefully in a really good day, supply block a Elazer. But
try to get back to the high ground. Is that Overlord? Is he going to make it? No, it doesn't go down.
That's a supply block for a couple seconds there.
Yeah, it was so close as well. Interestingly enough, Elazer doesn't have a third hatchery down just yet. Has just gone up to a few extra queens and is starting a very quick lair, looking like one of these fast 2-base roach openings. We saw one of these earlier today from Impact as well. The real scary thing here is the Protoss player doesn't know what's going on. You're going to notice there he's got a solid wall off and all of his units at home. Trap trying to figure out what is the follow-up. Is it just roach play into a third base? Is it going to be a Nidus worm with queens and roaches? There are a lot of options for the Zerg, but Elazer's sacrificing a lot of economy to open that tech up.
Certainly is, and the Oracle's going to come in here and go, what? No third base? What's going on here? And then get a bit of an idea as to what he sees. When he sees the gas count, when he gets up the main, has a look at that lair. He may not even, there's 3 queens down here. Oracle's getting a little bit deep.
Yeah, 1 drone for a lot of damage on the Oracle. Good defense by Elazer so far. He's got good map vision as well. Trap thinking about taking the third base, but I think he's realizing, you know what? Don't really need an extra base on top of Zerg. Normally it's the Zerg player who's adding the bases. And Hydra Den?
This is not a roach timing. This is a big Hydra timing by the list of things. Big tag there. Does see the Hydra Den on 2 bases, so
yeah.
With the third hatchery going down, Elazer is going to have a kind of a follow-up, but it's up to Trap to go, all right, I'm about to take a big hit with a lot of units. Time to get what I need to defend this.
You know what's really cool about this? Elazer is dropping the third, and he is going to get Hydras out quite early. He's trying to hang on to these Overlords. I think a Transfuse is definitely worthwhile here. There we go, drops the Transfuse, keeps that OV alive. Very nice play by Elazer, but as I was saying, I don't think he needs to necessarily commit to a huge attack. A very fast Lurker Den. Looks like, well, he might just go for a fast Lurker attack, but you don't really need to go all in. He could choose to drone up behind this, because just spotting this forces Trap into a huge reaction. A ton of gateways going down, more Phoenix, Immortal production, Adept Glaives on the way. Trap realizing against this sort of timing attack, charge not going to be as good, because Zealots in small numbers, I mean, they're just going to run away from the rest of your units and die, but Adepts, good ranged unit, nice damage output, sentries coming in as well, and Trap's defensive army is going to be brilliant. I really feel like Elazer, he needs some scouting, but he doesn't know there's no third base from Trap, and he might just blindly commit to this Lurker timing. I feel like Trap's going to be so well prepared for that.
Elazer is generally the kind of guy that likes to get Overlord speed, but even with Overlord speed, these Phoenixes are just really denying all of his presence on the outside of the map here. He has a tag on those Hydras as well, so Trap has all the information he could possibly want here. Comes on into third, not many drones at all. It's a bit of an indicator here.
That's a huge tell. He knows exactly what he's up against. More and more sentries coming forward, and he wants to get in front of the wall. Doesn't want to lose these buildings.
All right.
Clever response here from Trap. He knows he can use the force fields out there in the open, trap those Hydras up against the Adepts and shred them.
And then fight in the range of the shield battery, keeping the Immortals, as important units, alive. First few Lurkers are on the way here for Elazer with a lot of Hydras and Lings to help them out. But so many force fields and choke points here for Trap to make things tough here for the Polish Zerg. Elazer begins his attack. Oh, that force field. Oh my God. Big catch. He goes Hydra fishing and bags a lot of them. Fresh catch of the day. 3 Hydras or 4 Hydras going down there.
Very nice start to things here for Trap. Remember, these Hydras don't have the movement speed upgrade, so they aren't very mobile. The Lurk is starting to work their way forwards. Queens here as well with Transfuse. That's a lot of firepower to this Protoss army. Trap being ever so patient, but no, he's going to go for it. The lifts on the Phoenixes takes a bunch of those Lurkers out of the ground. The ones that are still there, though, doing massive damage. They're trying to re-burrow, but the Phoenixes pick them up once again.
They certainly do. The Lurkers being taken out of the battle is quite nice for Trap here. And the Immortals all still alive in the back end, able to come in and just wreck him. GG. And the gateway units for the sentries on the support, making sure that the Lings couldn't get the job done either. Elazer just reinforcing with whatever he had, just not enough to crack Trap's defense.
Trap with such a calm reaction there. That is not an easy attack to spot, but he spotted it, he stopped it, reacted, cut his work account down lower than it needed to necessarily be, of course. No third base, full-on defense reaction. Elazer there didn't have any scouting, and that's what happens when your opponent opens up with those Phoenix like that. You can't tell. Is he going for the third behind this? Should I keep committing? Should I back off? And the Phoenix lifts, absolutely crucial. You know, if those extra 5 Hydralisks were alive, maybe he can focus the Phoenix down quickly, get the Lurkers burrowed back in the ground, but as it was really tough for him to get that attack started.
And the power of these Stargate openings, getting that Oracle out, and just, he had all the information he wanted all game long. Every time Revelation ran out, bam, there was another one. He was all ready for those Hydras. He was keeping track of them, moving through the map. He knew what tech he was up against. And then when you have all the information in the world, if you're as good as Trap, you're very rarely going to lose a game of StarCraft, Big.
Yeah, especially not when things are as straightforward as that. Opponent stopping on 2 bases of workers, massing units and going for an attack. Even not being sure if it's lurkers or hydras or whatnot. It was a very safe response from the Protoss player there. He takes the 1-0 lead. If he can close this out 2-0, it will take him closer to that spot in the final bracket.
So close, he can taste it. He has to make sure that Elazer doesn't ruin his dreams here on stage in Katowice. Let's get into gate number 2 in the bottom left here from Team Clash, the Polish Zerg. This is Elazer. And in the top right from Junior Green Wings, the Korean Protoss, the Wing Commander. This is Trap.
I like that. The Wing Commander.
It was 2015 Katowice where he got that nickname, utilizing Stargate play to the utmost brilliance. So sick to see.
A lot of history here with these players, competing for many years here. Elazer is going to be going for this nice fast hatchery. Doesn't want to let that get blocked here. And once again, the probe's going to rock up and say, these Zergs keep putting this hatchery down too fast. You know, all that probe dreams of all day is getting over there in time to just run around in circles, blocking that expansion. Maybe we even put down a pylon to delay it even longer. But these Zerg players not too keen on letting the Protoss toy with them.
There's even some Protosses out there that actually scout with multiple probes for the express purpose of being a complete douchebag.
Yeah, usually there's a Forge going down behind that as well when they do that.
That's right.
You know, unfortunately, Haas is not competing in this tournament. That's one thing we've definitely been missing. Needs to cannon rush a few more players into retirement.
It's the one thing about Haas is, whether you love him or hate him, he keeps things very, very interesting.
I know Wax Angel especially is just so excited if Haas is in the tournament bracket. I don't think he's a bigger fan of anyone in the StarCraft scene more than...
it feels like he just wants to watch the world burn, though, so he's definitely your favorite kind of player if that's the kind of guy you like. Also, I think he was a fan of Sniper as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Don't need any more proof than that. Wax is indeed a psychopath. Probably be institutionalized, but
yeah,
we put up with him here anyway.
Sniper definitely wasn't a patch Zerg. Anyway.
The best period of StarCraft esports history.
It was, wasn't it?
Infestors that did 1 billion damage.
Instant fungal.
Oh yeah.
That's the stuff.
Remember those days? Used to be able to beat good players. It was all skill, it wasn't the
guys, for all you watching at home, those were the days when Pig was actually the Australian champion of WCS. Won like, what was it? 7 and big, was it 10 grand? What was the prize pool for it?
I don't know, man. I'm not going to list my prize money on stream, but that's cool. We can talk about these guys who've won many, many, many times more than that and have played at such a high level, dude. These guys, honestly, can wipe the floor with the pros from 2012. The skill level has gone up so much since those days, and there's so much more multitasking in Legacy of the Void as well. Yeah,
best iteration of the game for sure. Stargate opener again from Trap, but the real question is not whether or not he's going to open it with Stargate, but what's he going to do after that. And we're seeing a second Adept this time, no Stalker follow-up in this game. Makes a bit more sense, I guess, on Backwater because it's a little bit easier to get rid of that Overlord, or rather a bit more important. This is going to go straight Oracle into Phoenix.
I like the mix-up. Yeah, definitely just kind of keeps the Zerg guessing about exactly what the follow-up is going to be, especially if you're going to commit really hard to something like a big glaive timing. I feel like if the Zerg spots that like straight away, they're just so overly prepared and it's impossible to do damage. So, and there's a lot of follow-ups from here, but definitely mixing in the adjustments with the timing is always a good thing here to do for Trap. Second gate, we're going to complete the wall off as well. The Phoenix says, lights out. Zerg, you can only see your corner of the map. And Elazer, of course, he's got the standard defense so far. Has he put a Spore Crawler down in the main base? I think he did. No, he skipped it. Okay, so he did actually... yeah, delayed that to the last second. The moment he saw the Phoenix, he said, yep, we don't need a Spore Crawler just yet. The Oracle's delayed. A great example of how he can use that drone to mine a little bit longer, squeeze a few more workers out, and really push his economy to the maximum.
He has a pretty decent number of Queens as well, so he can battle this Phoenix, which is very, very annoying. The power of the Phoenix in the early stages is not only Overlord removal, but the ability to actually lift a Queen out of the mineral lines of the Oracles, and there is multiple Oracles here, by the way, can mince up a drone line.
Adepts trying to shade on into that natural. I think they're going to commit to it. They indeed are. Only a couple of Zerglings here. A few more pop out of the eggs just in time, but a bunch of drones going to fall.
Yeah, going to get 4 drones here, 5 in the end. Seems like not a bad trade there for Trap. So he takes his 3rd Nexus back at home. And
I feel like the Adepts in this tournament are just getting so many worker kills in the early game versus these Zerg players. The Zerg players are not having a good time against these cheeky Adepts.
Indeed, and they shade down here at the 3rd base with a bit of a SimCity between the pylon and the Nexus, so it's tough for Elazer to get a cancel here. Tough for Elazer to find any damage, really. He got one of those transferring probes, but really not much else. Oh man, Elazer is going to commit to roaches in this game again. But Trap is already making double robotics facility pick.
This is just such a good adjustment to the metagame. We saw SOS building Immortals really fast. We're seeing Trap going for such an early double robo. I mean, they're just predicting, they're foreseeing what the Zerg players are going to do. This is so common in the meta, especially Elazer has just gravitated towards this roach style, not only for safety, but for counterattacks. The Zergs, the Protoss players going for Immortals have been shutting it down, and the big problem Elazer had when he tried this against Classic was the fact that he goes roaches, he likes to add Swarm Hosts in, but once there's a certain Immortal count, it's very scary. And ooh, Elazer, he's going to change it up. I like to see this. Not sticking with the Swarm Host, says Hydras, Lurkers, an amazing unit. Let's go that route.
Certainly has a lot of damage output and can pick a lot of fights, especially against the Immortals, which are such a huge threat. Trap is aware of this tech, though. Got a nice revelation there with that Oracle. I was almost certain he had multiple Oracles, but I must have missed that production tab there. Just the one, by the looks of it, with that Phoenix. And he's got a nice little force here. So this isn't a huge fighting force, but it does have a lot of force fields. Should be able to keep him safe for now, but he will need to fight shortly here. Elazer putting on his aggressive pants one leg at a time, sending those roaches on to the 3rd Nexus.
I love it, though. It's almost like to force a reaction here. Notice there's extra gateways going down. Trap's worker count is very low at 47 versus 63. Elazer here, he's posturing, but he's not committing. And this is so good. We've seen him overcommit into the Immortals in the past. He's been punished for it. This time around, nuh-uh. 4th base on the way. He's got a great worker lead. He's adding the tech, the Lurkers, the Hydra upgrades. This is the Elazer that I've been waiting to see.
Yeah, very nice move there from Elazer. Lurkadan getting dropped down unbeknownst to Trap as well. Can transfuse this Overlord and keep it alive. He does just that. Knocks back that Phoenix. Get out of here, you cheeky sod. And there's a couple hallucinated Phoenixes going around the outside for information. Now, Trap's next move here is looking like it's, I was going to say, where is that Templar Archives? We're going to see a big Immortal charge arc on our army, and no doubt Storms on the horizon as well to deal with the Hydras.
Feel like we've entered a new phase of StarCraft history when the Immortal comes back in
it's force, back with a vengeance, man.
We are seeing so many Immortals today. I mean, it goes right back to earlier today. We saw that crazy Knee versus Serral match where there was like 50, 60 Immortals built in one game. And I think we're going to see another path going in that direction here for Trap. He's already up to like 6 Immortals. He's going to be up at 8 soon. These Roaches looking for a counterattack. I don't know if they're going to be able to find much, though. New Immortals are out, one in the open.
That's not a bad catch, but fortunately he does have that shield battery to fall back to, and there's that army of Trap, which I don't feel like Elazer really wants to fight head-to-head at the moment. Even though he does have +1 attack and his upgrades are a little bit better, his army just kind of sucks against multiple Immortals, and there's so many here already for Trap with that double robotics facility production.
Yeah, no Overlord speed on the way just yet. I'd love to see that at some point so we can drop those Roaches in the main. You know, Roaches are fantastic if you just avoid the main blob of Immortals, drop them in the mineral line, start running them around the bases. But for now, it seems like Elazer is focused on a frontal plan of pushing. Roaches, Hydras, and Lurkers are the order of the day. Adding more Zerglings in now, a good adjustment. You know, as long as he doesn't build any more Roaches, it's okay. The Immortal damage kind of bad versus Zerglings and Hydras. So I like this. Posturing, threatening, trying to pull Trap out of position, can't get caught. And if he can get a nice Lurker position on the 3rd, he might make this work.
Oh, the Oracle is here and does get a tag on those Hydras and Lurkers, so Elazer got caught there with his hand in the cookie jar.
Yep, uses the map hack spell there, does Trap, and says, I'm going to get to see everything you do for the next 30 seconds. And Elazer says, all right, I guess we're just going to make more Lurkers and build up to a slightly later attack. Elazer is up in supply quite nicely. These Roaches still threatening up there, but Trap's looking to catch him.
Yeah, it certainly is. I actually agree with you, Pig. I would love for Elazer to load up like 4 Overlords with a bunch of maybe even Lurkers and Hydras and try and go for the main while attacking this third base. Similar to what Nurtio and Serral tried to do in their games, but the Lurkers are a little bit close here.
Doesn't want to let those Zealots come in on that concave. Pulling back into the safety of a choke point. Good moves by Elazer. Roaches take advantage of that inattention, but once again, there's just endless Immortals coming out. These Roaches are like, damn it, we just can't find our way in here. Elazer knows that positioning is key, but he's out in the open, he's committing. Is Trap going to be able to break this?
Trap is splitting his units here, going to try and fight on 2 fronts. He has some Immortals looking like they're trying to catch some of the reinforcements. Trap is holding on so far, and he's closing this big concave of Protoss units.
Oh my
Storms
Lord.
from above as well.
That is so much Protoss coming in on the perfect angle. The Storms blanketing everything. Elazer completely routed. The perfect engagement from Trap. Breaks the contain, pushes his way out. Elazer trapped in a corner. It's moments like these. Zerg wish they had recall, but he doesn't. He's trapped in the corner, and he's just going to have to pick off 1 or 2 Adepts before this whole force goes down.
Great control from Trap there, and Elazer has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide with these units. He's going around the outside with more army here. Elazer down, but not dead just yet. Gonna try and go for a counterattack while Trap is out of position. Remember that Trap can still recall though if things get too dicey. These 2 Immortals can get caught and surrounded by the Lings. He recalls these 2 Immortals. It's amazing to use that spell just for those 2, but he does keep them alive. And Elazer being very annoying here at this base.
Yeah, wants to try and slow down this 4th base. That'd be something, but I think he might be overextending. Does get a few Immortals and Archons. Nice damage, but here comes the Force. Now those Hydras caught out in the open are going to go down. They focus down the pylon, actually enabling themselves to potentially retreat more and more Hydras on the south as well. Elazer trying to get a little bit of tempo going.
And this is how Serral came back against Neeb. Multiple attacks, multiple places, stretching the Protoss thin and turning this into a longer game. That's the plan here for Elazer. And if he keeps picking off these incredibly high, important gas count units, then he can, but at the moment the charge lots are giving him a rough time.
And that's the problem. If you don't have Banelings in the mix like Serral did, then you're not going to be able to get rid of these Zealots. The Zealots do so well versus pure Hydra Zergling, and the Storm added into the mix. The Immortals coming forward. This is a pretty close engage. Elazer does get the wraparound on some of these valuable units. The start of the fight was terrible for him, but oh my lord.
You like Immortals, here's someone prepared earlier. They come on down and destroy the Hydra-based army here of Elazer, even catching a few of them and killing them on the way back. Elazer still with a very healthy economy, but not much left in the bank anymore. He's going to try and replenish an army, something that can fight this. It looks like Trap's ready for a counterattack.
Oh man, Elazer right now, he does not want to go to sleep having nightmares of Immortals tonight, but it doesn't seem like he has an answer. This is such a big army. Queens being pulled to the front. Hydras trying to engage into this. Needs to use the Queens to tank. Elazer trying to take the best fight he possibly can. The Zealots come in and wash up against that. A beautiful storm lands on the Hydras.
Certainly does. There are some more Hydras on the right here, and Elazer can reinforce, but will he be able to reinforce fast enough is a big question I got on my mind. Trap microing his army nicely here, pulling back some of those Archons to fight on the right flank, while the left flank with the heavy Immortal count presses Elazer back, and he's starting to get closer and closer to the hatcheries.
Man, this is just such a hard army to kill. You need to have the numbers advantage, but Elazer doesn't have that. That first army of his just wasn't able to break through. And this is just an impossible engagement for the Polish Zerg. Trap too strong, manages to push his way through and keep his hopes alive.
Too strong and a 2-0 for his efforts. With a 2-0, that means Trap has a good shot at coming through in 3rd place. Well played from the Generic Green Wings Protoss. Happy to do the damage here in Poland once more. Unfortunately, Elazer, another 0-2 performance for him.
Beautiful play there from Trap. He is going to be going through to that next stage as well. This is fantastic. We've got news of that as well. He fought hard here to the bitter end. He managed to make his way through. Of course, always, whenever there is victory and defeat, whenever there is that huge emotional release on the other side, there is the same on the other side, the opposite and equal reaction. A devastated player who's played his heart out today and unfortunately wasn't able to make it work in this one tournament.
Yes, the yin and yang, the brutality of StarCraft. There can be only one in the end of it all. A Trap will move on through Group D. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, an interview with Trap, and then a wrap up with the boys. We'll see you then.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. We just wrapped up our final match of Group D, and it is Trap that not only wins this match over Elazer, but moves on to the round of 12. So first of all, congratulations, Trap. When I told you the news, you were obviously feeling a lot of emotion. So tell us what's going through your head.
일단 축하드리고요. 이번 승으로 통해서 이제 진출 확정이 됐는데 정확히 무슨 기분을 느끼고 있는지 얘기해 주세요.
일단 진출하게 돼서 기쁘긴 한데 그냥 좀 무덤덤해요. 그러니까 처음부터 이렇게 좀 분위기 좋게 했으면은 되게 기뻤을 것 같은데 이제 초반에 좀 불리하게 시작하고 또 이제 나중에는 좀 힘들어가지고 좀 마음 비웠는데 이제 또 결국엔 올라가게 되니까 약간 좀 얼떨떨해요.
So he says, of course, I'm very, very happy, but I feel like it's kind of a conflicted set of emotions. It would have been so nice if I had just done well from the start, but instead I had a sort of really bad start because I lost 2 games in a row. And then because I lost 2 games in a row, I was feeling pretty down about that, and I just decided to sort of let go of any emotions I was feeling. And then I went on to win in advance. So right now I would say I feel a sort of conflicted set of emotions. And now with this advancement, it's been actually 3 years since you were here in Katowice last when you were runner-up. So Katowice, I can't help but feel like must be extra special to you. Tell us if that's the case.
일단 월챔에 온 지 벌써 3년이나 됐는데 지난번에 왔을 때 준우승까지 했었어요. 그래서 어떻게 보면 좀 뜻깊은 대회일 것 같은데 그런지 얘기해 주세요.
네, 일단 뜻깊은 대회고 해외대회 오면은 그냥 뭔가 기분이 좋아요. 무대에서 경기하게 되면 기분이 좋고 일단 올해는 작년에는 못 나왔지만 올해는 나오게 됐고 또 상금이 훨씬 커졌기 때문에 더 좋은 성적을 내고 싶어요.
So he says, definitely it is a very special event for me, and just overall, I love coming out to these foreign events. It feels so good for me to be able to perform on the main stage whenever I come out to these foreign events. And even though I wasn't able to come last year, I was able to this year, which is great. And I also noticed that the prize pool has increased quite a bit, so I want to perform even better to make sure to snag some money under my belt. And last but not least, there's been a lot of people in the crowd that have been specifically cheering for you. So I wonder, how does that feel for you as a Korean player that hasn't been able to see that for a long time?
일단 이제 이게 해외에서도 되게 많은 팬들이 이렇게 응원을 해주고 있는데 오랫동안 못 나와서 이렇게 못 봤을 거 아니에요. 그래서 기분이 어떤지 얘기해 주세요.
방금 이제 이기고 팬분들이 이제 제 아이디를 이제 외쳐주셨는데 3년 전 그 느낌을 다시 받는 것 같아요.
So he says, right after I win, some fans in the crowd shouted my ID to me, and the memory that I felt was the memory from 3 years ago when I was here in Katowice, and I heard the fans chanting my name back then. So I just remember that memory, and it felt quite nice. So with that, it is Trap that's moving on to the round of 12. So congratulations again. Let's head back to the battle station to wrap up the day.
Thank you very much, Smix. An ecstatic Trap there after that victory, and he moves on through into the round of 12. We can actually check what happened in some of the final moments of the few games that were going on while this was happening. We'll check in with Rotterdam first because his series is less impactful on the overall status of this group. So we're going to have SOS going up against Marine, I think it was.
Yep, the first game was under 6 minutes. It really wasn't anything worth showing. It was Hero Marine trying to go for the proxy start with Hellion. It's like every time I stand here, I have to talk about this build. And SOS just shaded 2 adepts into the natural, killed a bunch of SCVs with the adepts and the oracles, defended at home, and at that point it was kind of game over. He just ran across the map and he won. Then we can go ahead and jump into game 2 real quick. I'm gonna keep it short because just like that, the series was very short as well. This game SOS did the little Zealot trick where you send it via the right side, forced the cancel on the command center. So a disastrous start for Hero Marine. At this point, Hero Marine really is feeling the pressure. He's down 15 workers. He's like, all right, I want to make something happen on the other side of the map. SOS, just when Blink finished up, was literally 2 seconds before this fight. He picks off 2 Cyclones, so he kind of reduces the power of this push. Hero Marine still feels like his back is against the wall because he's so far behind economically. So he tries to make the magic happen, James, but SOS with a shield battery, some Blink Stalker micro, it was just not going to happen. And And just like that, GG was called. A very, very short series. SOS takes it 2-0.
Thank you very much, Rotterdam. And we do have Todd, who had Classic versus Ryong, which was an important series.
Yeah.
Because if Ryong was able to be victorious, he would have actually clinched himself that round of 12 spots. So what happened there?
Well, did I show a bit of it on game one? Or
Did you
I
know?
didn't.
No, I don't think
Well, game one was pretty straight up, to be honest,
Yep.
and we had a long day. And to be fair, I don't even remember what happened.
Lots of Protoss units with
Oh
plus
yeah,
2
that's
armor.
okay. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at game two.
Okay.
Hey, honest all the way here.
That's fine, that's fine.
Game two, I remember that actually, when in the start of game two, I was like, what works in Terraners versus Protoss? Because I feel like every series in this tournament that I watch, nothing works. So I feel like Ryong probably felt the same. He made a massive army, Widow Mines, 3 ghosts, tanks, pulled the boys, and it was time to go for the attack. Classic. He caught some reinforcements and then he started heading back. And I think he actually recalled these maybe, because
Yes, he did.
they ended up rejoining the fight after a while. So, I mean, he's trying to posture forward here to kind of slow down this big push that he knows is coming. He recalls all of these adepts. And now it's all going to be about the fight, because army supply-wise, they're actually pretty even.
And there are ghosts in the mix as well.
Yeah, exactly, which can be very scary. When I started, I wasn't sure who this was good for, but you'll see. You'll see who it's good for. I mean, you know who won, basically, so it doesn't even matter. But when I saw this army set up like this, I was like, I guess Ryong could land some big EMPs and do well. Can he though?
Can he though?
And just like that, all of the red is disappearing in the game.
Yep.
This is as bloodbath as it gets, guys.
Just a few Marines left. Classic doing a massive favor to Trap here, winning this
Yes.
series 2-0 as convincingly as he did as well. Obviously, he looks really good on his resume, like we said. Classic goes 5-0 in this group. Obviously, picks himself up $200 extra as well, but I think above all, he created a very happy Trap. Look at these Protoss brothers unite with each other. All 3 Protoss advancing from Group D.
Allowing them to advance through, that's right. So our lineup here for the round of 12 is pretty awesome. We can check in with the group stage, Group 4, Group D. That's the one. Group D. The brackets were numbers, the groups were alphabet. We can do all of the groups, in fact, to make sure that you know which are the 12 players that are going to be advancing on into the bracket stage. And we'll take a look. Group A, TY, Dia, Maru, powerful stuff. Group B, Solar, Dark, Hurricane,
Powerful
stuff. Group C, Serral, Rogue, Impact.
Powerful stuff.
That's right. Group D, Classic, SOS, and Trap.
Powerful stuff.
Powerful stuff. Yes, we got there.
Shout out Reddit Cringe.
That's, yeah, whatever.
It's gonna be a great clip. Up
Doesn't. We've been live for 12 hours. So, one thing that is important to note here is that Serral is the only member of this lineup that is non-Korean, and he was able to make it last year as well to the round of 8. Last year there was Nurture in there as well. He was in the round of 12, but Serral is that one lone contender from the foreign world.
Yeah, he had actually a very rough matchup, I think, last year in the quarterfinals against Dark, I think he was, where he lost pretty hard.
3-0.
Sadly, so he's going to want to redeem himself this time around.
I mean, Serral last year was good. This year, I feel like we're looking at a whole nother level. Serral has been playing so incredibly good. Of course, in Leipzig, Pyeongchang wasn't totally what we expected, but Scarlet was just on fire that tournament.
Yep.
But now, again, Serral's been showing up in all the online tournaments we've had over the last few months as well. It's hardly a surprise that Serral is in the top 12 or even top 8 since he won the group.
Yes.
But I must say I'm a little bit surprised that he's the only one. I definitely expected maybe a Showtime or a Special or a Deep to sneak in there.
For sure.
Or maybe a Elazer or a Hero Marine or a Snoot. You never know.
Thermal was not too far.
Exactly, or a
Yes.
Thermal.
But, I mean, there was some really good representation and strong representation in these groups from our non-Korean combatants, as you say, like Thermal, very impressive. And also, you know, even Hero Marine today had actually took that first series off Elazer, which was almost a potential prelude to him doing very well in this group. Unfortunately, it didn't materialize for him.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, but I mean, these guys just gotta keep on practicing. You know, like we saw the look on Elazer's face just now, you know, going 0-5, it's very tough, but I guess he just wasn't feeling it this time around. Needs to train more, needs to come back stronger, which I'm sure he will.
That's right.
Elazer's resilience is always definitely one thing that he has going for him.
We're just taking a few minutes to formulate the brackets. Oh, I said that, and then they said bracket ready. That's right, let's take a look. The round of 12 and the round of 8 as follows. As you can see, Serral Classic, TY, and Solar have already made it through to that quarterfinal. However, oh my god, SOS is versus Maru. Wait a minute. I was supposed to read it down. Yeah.
You're like Tasteless, you read backwards.
But look at those matchups. That is a strong round of 12, guys.
Yeah, Trap versus Dark on the top side of the bracket. That sets up the potential rematch that Yoan just mentioned. If Dark wins that series, which I think is possible, definitely not guaranteed, he could potentially go up against Celro again.
Yes.
1 year later, same
In the
city,
same round.
same tournament, same round. All right. Deer versus Impact is going to be a fun one as well, with Classic waiting in the quarterfinals, and Deer looked mighty fine in PvP, by the way. So
yeah,
if he squeezes into the quarterfinals, perhaps that's possible.
And then you look at Hurricane going up against Rogue, and if Rogue advances there, you have the world champion of the Intel Extreme Masters 2017 going up against the world champion of the Global Finals. Imagine if that occurs.
I believe they met as well at the Global Finals, right?
Yeah,
in the
semi-finals. I think TY was up 2-0 and somehow Rogue won 3-2. Turned it
so
around.
that'd be another rematch.
I've got nerd chills, and I haven't said that for a long time on broadcast. There you go.
SOS Maru, though.
Yes, that's going to be very
good.
He
kept the best for last in that round of 12, that's for damn sure.
Damn right, damn right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure bringing you all of these games throughout the four couple of days. I'm just all over the place now, it's gone. We're done here for day number 4 here at the Intel Extreme Masters. Make sure you tune in, same place, same time tomorrow. We have 8 best of 5 to find out who gets down to our last 4, who will be playing in Spodek. It's going to be an awesome day. We'll see you then.
Nothing's left inside, I will not lead you down a broken path.